Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hello everyone, my name is Fairuz Chandraswari. I'm from 2023 I class, and today I am going to present the analysis of intercultural communication portrayed in the film Past Lives by Celine Song. Past Lives is a melancholic film that dives into the themes of intercultural communication, cultural identity, and the power of connection. Through the story of Nora and Hae-Sung, we'll see how culture can shape relationships and communication across time and space. The film tells the story of childhood best friends Nora and Hae-Sung that developed feelings for one another but had to be apart when Nora emigrated from Korea to Canada. Nora grew up and moved to New York to be a writer. The two met online for several times until they lost contact again. Then Nora got married to another writer, and years later they finally reunited for 1 week in New York. As Nora and Hae-Sung grew apart, Nora in Canada, then New York, and Hae-Sung in Korea, they developed different styles of communication. Grew up in the West, Nora has a strong personality and was changed by the culture. In one scene where she talks on a video call with Hae-Sung, she said, "When I first immigrated, I used to cry a lot, but then I realized that nobody cared." This shows her adapting to the West culture and conforming herself to fit there. Sung, deeply rooted in Korea, developed a strong sense of Korean culture in his personality. He embodies this culture with subtlety in communication. With Nora, he often gives long silences and meaningful glances with a calm demeanor, and he avoids expressing his feelings directly. From these cultural differences, it also manifests in their differences in expressing by their body language. Nora, with the Western culture, is not afraid in expressing herself through physical interaction, while Hae-Sung seems pretty awkward with it. Past Lives portrayed both of them with full authenticity and avoid cultural stereotypes. The director, Celine Song, focuses on emphasizing their individuality rather than generalization and cultural tropes that we usually see in other media. As Nora navigates between two worlds, she reflects the experience of immigrants. She negotiates and adapts her Korean roots and westernized life. Her hybrid identity shapes her approach to Hae-Sung, blending nostalgia for her Korean past with her Korean Western worldview as he sees Hae-Sung as the personification of her past. Hae-Sung's cultural identity is deeply rooted in Korean values, traditions, and philosophies. This shapes not only his worldview but also his interactions and emotional expression. He preserves his Korean roots deeply. He believes in faith and loyalty. He treasures his connection to Nora as a part of his life rather than a fleeting chapter. While Nora has adapted to life in the West and embraced its individualistic values, Hae-Sung remains in Korea and symbolizes continuity and tradition. She's direct and he's restrained. She's independent and he's collectivist. She's modern and he's traditional. All of these create a quiet tension between them. Even with the tension and cultural gap, Past Lives finds beauty in their differences, showing that blending cultural identities isn't about creating uniformity, but embracing the duality of being connected yet distinct. This film finds this gap and creates something beautiful with it. The connection between Nora and Hae-Sung creates a subtle yet significant power dynamic. Hae-Sung's longing for connection positions him as the one who actively reaches out to Nora, whether through Facebook or Trip, while Nora's mobility allows her to set the terms of their relationship. For Hae-Sung, the relationship is deeply tied to his sense of identity and destiny. For Nora, while their bond is significant, it must coexist with her new life and ambitions. This difference shapes their interactions, adding the atmosphere of tension to their story. In the West, personal growth and autonomy are highly valued. Nora's decision to pursue her ambitions and build a life in New York highlights her embrace of these ideals. Their views are often pragmatic and focused on the present. Korean culture places a high value on subtlety and nonverbal communication. It's reflected in Hae-Sung's reserved demeanor and reluctance to express his feelings. The Korean concept of inyon or fate illustrates the understanding of relationships, where words are less important than shared history or emotion. Inyon is a Korean saying where the fate of someone in their relationships is based from their past lives. If two people's clothes brushed when they walk by, there are layers of inyon between them. And if two people got married, they have 8,000 layers of inyon. Both Nora and Hae-Sung understand inyon, however, they interpret it differently. Hae-Sung holds this belief close to his heart. He views their bond as a predestined connection that gives him hope. While Nora acknowledges the beauty and poetry of it, she doesn't let it dictate her decisions as she's focused on the present. Both Nora and Hae-Sung take the time to understand each other's lives, even when their worlds seem so different. Both characters accept their differences. They step into each other's worlds as they reunite in New York, where it gives them a path for a deeper understanding and connection. Ultimately, the film emphasizes that beyond the constructs of cultural identity lies a shared humanity, a universal emotional resonance that transcends boundaries and unites people in their longing, understanding, and love. Our culture shapes our identity and our approach to love and communication. And even though there are millions of different cultures, our universal desire shares the same human connection, regardless of cultural boundaries. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for your attention.